must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Viewers, those listening to this tape or this video, I want your attention that the politics of proxy wars in Africa is becoming real, and it has become a reality. I want to bring to this the attention of the African states that time and time again we have fallen victims of proxy wars. We fight wars that are not ours. We fall in conflicts that are not supposed to be, don't help Africa, and they don't help our countries at all. The proxy war that is in East and Central and the Horn of Africa has been ignited, supported, equipped by France. It has been very real that the French government quietly through its company called Total Oil has been searching for resources around the triangle of East and Central Africa and the Great Lakes region and the Horn of Africa. The LAPSET was one of them, which could have been a landmark project for the people of France. They withdrew from it. The Tanga to Mwanza, they made it, they withdrew from it. The search for oil and resources through Total Oil has brought us the dangers of a proxy war in the region. It is therefore very prudent for people of the region to understand the dynamics that we are going through. For example, in Rwanda and the Burundi conflict, there is a proxy war. We are fighting a proxy country. It has brought us to a war between the two countries, between Uganda and Rwanda and Burundi. There is a proxy war in Congo who is sponsoring a resurgence of rebels that are fighting President Tshisekedi because he was not supported by countries that we know very well. This type of strategy has happened in North Africa, where Libya has been reduced to rebels, where each faction, even the government supported by United Nations, is being bombarded by a rebel called Khalifa Haftar, who is funded by countries that we know. The question of Somalia and the Kenyan maritime presents a challenge, a test case for Africa and East Africa to stand firm and denounce the actions of countries that bring proxy wars and proxy politics in our region. It is therefore my humble submission that for this conflict, for this to end, we must do enough publicity, advocacy around the area to tell and explain to the international community why this problem is going to create an imbalance in the peace in the region, and the regional peace will be affected. It is therefore my humble submission that as a Ugandan whose troops, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers of other many millions Ugandans who are in Somalia, condemn any action by the Somali government to try to resolve issues that should have been resolved amicably as Africans within the African confines. I submit therefore that some of us will go a mile further to do now from now onwards, to expose, to show the challenges of these countries that make us fight a proxy war in Africa. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you. The International Court of Justice is a court that was created to solve problems of disputes of any nature. But this court was created.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi. This is The Punch. This show is The Punch. Is a show that picks out African issues. Is a show that pricks the minds of the people of Africa. We look at what has happened on the continent, what is pressing, what can be resolved on the continent without any reservations. This is a show that we always conduct only in every Thursday at 8 p.m. So don't miss this show. It has so many components and it has so many things that you learn from this show. This is a show where we see we must bring the countries together. We must bridge the gaps. The gulf between Somalia and Kenya seem to be widening. Therefore, we must bring it together as African countries to make sure that they get out of the acrimony that was instigated, supplied, supported, and equipped by external forces that we have mentioned in our previous broadcasts. This evening, I am delighted to be joined none other than Miriam Ogutu.
Good evening.
Yes, you are right today.
I'm fantastic.
The day seem to have you seem to have rested quite a lot.
I rested very well.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us, and that is exactly what it is tonight. We want to go through a topic which is very, very serious topic. We want all the people on both sides to pick up a pen and take notes. And those who want to learn can learn. Make your comments, make your contribution, make your telephone call. Today we have carried a telephone call. Actually, we have now the number. It is here. You can call us on +254 795 638 145 Nairobi, Kenya. If you can call us, we shall put you through and you tell us your comments or you make your contribution. Be short, precise. Don't make too many accusations. Don't insult people. This is a show, this is a time for learning on what has brought the acrimony between Kenya and Somalia. Thank you very much. Miriam, I give you time to test the microphones. There you go.
And for our viewers who are joining us, I see one of you here, you're calling, your name is Kafui, and you're wondering when we're going to talk about your country, Ghana. Don't worry, if you can join us tomorrow for our edition of Good Morning Africa, we will have some news about Ghana, but thank you so much for joining us right now. And in case you're wondering where our conversation today is coming from, this comes in a backdrop, or in the case before the ICJ, where Somalia argues that the maritime boundary between Kenya and Somalia, that there should be an extension of the land border running southeast into the ocean, while Kenya favors the parallel line to the latitude from its territorial border with Somalia. Now, the two interpretations of the maritime boundary created a triangle area of approximately 100,000 square kilometers, which is currently in dispute, and that is why we are thinking that this conversation still is very important for us to have between Kenya and Somalia, owing to the neighborliness and the cooperation that we've been having between these two countries. And there has been a feeling that by Somalia taking Kenya to the ICJ, this might, create some sort of acrimony. And the two countries right now are still struggling with the relationship, because the case in the ICJ, Kenya was for and still is really campaigning if they can have an out-of-court settlement and a diplomacy agreement between the two countries, then that will be good for this region. But Somalia has insisted ICJ is the way to go. So that's where we are today, and ICJ is the International Court of Justice. So that is the background of our conversation today.
And the background of the conversation continues. We want to find out their basic rules. We have been quarreling. We have been making decisions. We have been footing bills. The lawyers on both sides of this conflict are footing bills. The money that is going on in footing the bills could come back today to develop hospitals, dispensaries, roads, schools, infrastructure. We need this money here. We don't need to go and pay huge amounts of lawyers. But there is one thing that I want to be very categorical about the Kenyan question. Did Kenya consent to the Kenya-Somali ICJ case? Did it consent? I am not going to give a straight answer so that I remove the sweetness of our discussion. But I just want to give you a background. What is a consent? What is a declaration? Kenya in 1965 signed all the treaties that were needed as far as which one you must actually negotiate, which one we can go to court. Kenya signed all these treaties. And from that time, when Kenya did so, there were certain, articles and certain procedure to be followed. I have been doing research since I started filing the first case, the first complaints of the several complaints to the court. And the complaints, I want to tell you, viewers, that yes, the complaints arrived in the court. The judges have the complaints, all of them, or they will make a decision according to what they will get or what they think is correct. But I've been researching further and picking quite a lot of material. I've looked through all the files of Kenya filing itself. Kenya is writing. Why is it that Kenya is writing to an amorphous situation, procedure? Did Kenya consent? Because before the ICJ, and I want to teach some people a quick way. The ICJ is not a criminal court. The ICJ is not a criminal court. Therefore, if you refuse to go, you will not be put on handcuffs to go. It is not like the ICC, which is a criminal court. So did Kenya consent for them to be? It must have a consent. There must be a consent. Let's look at Article 36 of the treaty of the ICJ. And I'll read it verbatim so that people can understand what it means and what it says. For those who must be interested in this conflict will understand. Article 36 of the International Court of Justice is very clear. The powers, the jurisdiction of the court comprises of all cases. The parties refer to it and all the matters specially provided for the Charter of the United Nations, or treaties and the conventions of the force. 2, the states parties to present a statute may at any time declare that they recognize as compulsory. Mark that. Recognize as compulsory. Ipso facto. You know, these are good words that I want people to look in your ipso facto. IPSO facto. Which, and without special agreement in relation to any of the state accepting the same obligation. The English here, the jurisdiction of the court in all legal disputes. Let me stop there, pause it. Did Kenya seek consent? Did Somalia seek consent to take Kenya to the court? This is where we are. This is where you are, Kenyans. Let's go. Let's start from here. Did Somalia seek consent? You must agree. Kenya must agree. I have not seen any letter. I have not seen any written document where Somalia, where this court said Somalia, Kenya consented, say let's take us. That's why the mistake of all this is the question of consent. Therefore, what Kenya can do now, hold on, I don't want to spoil the soup. I'm coming fast. I've gone further. As a researcher, you do exactly what it means to research. In a letter dated 12th of January 2018, the registrar of the court, ICJ, wrote to the then Attorney General of Kenya. When the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya complained of one judge, a Somali, by name Abdalaki Yusuf. Listen to that. This is where the problem is. And anybody with a lot of strength, character, who wants to save Kenya, who wants to save money, who wants to save this country money, should first look at my position that I have taken of going to court with the same international complaint of where the judge, Mr. Abdalaki Yusuf, has made real statements regarding this case publicly and even made sure that he meets the officials of one side privately. This letter is an evidence signed by the same registrar and sent to the former Attorney General, Gift Mugai. This is a serious matter that we have. The government of Kenya must come back and to the drawing table. What is it that they want? Did they consent? What is it in Article 36 that we need to look at? Hello? We need to look at Article 36. If we didn't consent, And if we feel that there is a problem, we can make a declaration. We can declare to the court today and call it a day and come back to our mechanisms that are the African Union. We don't want to waste time with Somalia. That's it. And that's the route I'm following. If Somalia does not want to negotiate under the AU Charter, which governs, which purifies it, pacifies it, removes bandits, terrorists from their country, if Somalia does not want to sit with us in African way to seek an arbitration over the eye of the waters of Indian Ocean, go ye Kenya. What did you waste your money, efforts? Why are you going there? Why are you telling us that you need to arrange lawyers? For what? Why do you arrange lawyers for? To go and do what? You have Article 36. What are the lawyers doing for you? What will the lawyers do to what? Because you are taking yourself, the Kenyan government itself is taking itself to a place where they were not even consulted that we are taking you. That's what Article 36 says. It's very clear. Miriam, it says, tuambiane, tell us, tuambiane, why are you taking me? Which we cannot sort here. I have not seen any letter from Somalia seeking consent of Kenya under the obligations of Article 36 and the African Union arbitration system that is in place.
So basically what you're saying is, of course, the first, when it comes to maritime and, of course, boundaries, the first thing is
arbitration.
Arbitration.
Yes.
Between the two countries.
Yes.
So if it refuses, then you can take
someone...
Somalia has never tried to engage in
someone made a terrible blunder, moved faster. I want to see any ink, black and white, where Kenya consented. Less than that, kudos to the judge has to leave for the interests of Somalia and Kenya. The Somali judge has to quit, recuse himself from the process to avoid unbiased rulings, to obstruction of justice, to avoid a failed case. The judge has to leave.
And that is the same argument you've made before the ICJ court.
Yes. So it was made when he was a deputy. Now he's on top of the things. At that time they said he's a deputy, therefore he has no powers. But now he has powers as the presiding judge to direct the same process. The same process. Miriam, he's directing the same process where he is going to make decisions against one party. Another question that I'm asking. Kenya writes to the judge, to the ICJ.
To the court, yes.
And what happens when Kenya wrote to the ICJ, the president of the court wrote to the president of Somalia. Have you seen that?
So what was contained in the Kenyan's letter to the ICJ?
The Kenyan letter was to extend.
Yeah.
They needed more time so that there is an extension to look for more lawyers.
For a postponement of
yes. So the president of the court directed the wrote to president of Somalia, Famijo, and told him that we want, Kenya is asking, it is an procedure. It's an procedure.
But Somalia being party to...
but the president does not write. The registrar has to write. Why should the president of the court write to the when the registrar is the one writing to? Why?
So he directly wrote to the government of Somalia.
Of Somalia. And the government of Somalia had an upper hand in even rejecting Kenya's extension. They issued a statement, you saw it, that they were not very pleased.
But the court went ahead and allowed Kenya the extension they wanted.
But it was fruitless for us, for them Kenya to go in as a second fiddle in a court which is supposed to be a balanced court. Therefore, it is up to the people of Kenya. I've looked through this. I've looked through Article 36. There must, especially 36.5, declaration made under Article 36 of the statute. I want to see that declaration. Where is it? Where is it? Show me. Kenya can make a declaration. Why do we waste the time that we are looking for lawyers, paying them millions of dollars? This is a game we have to play. If the court is playing the game, let's play the game. Let it begin. If Somalia does not want to solve this conflict on the African continent, let's play. Let's go to the international waters and let's play it. This court is not a criminal court. It is not going to issue criminal summons. This court is not criminal court. Therefore, this court is an NGO style of court where all of us must arrive in that whole field and play with them.
So you're feeling Kenya has no, but Kenya having ratified the UN Charter and
ratification,
ICJ being part of the United Nations, are they not obligated to honor?
But there are certain things that you must know, and I want to come to those things. Slowly, well organized. In 1965, Kenya accepted the compulsory jurisdiction, okay, of the court in all cases, except, and I repeat, except, and let people know that this is the way we do our things, except disputes in regard to which the parties have agreed to some other method of settlement. That's it.
But in this case, they have not agreed.
Yes.
Kenya and Somalia have
consent. That's it. I can go home, the show can end. That's it. That's where Matanga is. I have no regrets. If people want to waste their money, just waste it. I am on that. Until you give me a letter of consent from Somalia, that court is not going to take place. I'm now telling you the truth. It will be foolish, naive, prudish, sardonic, silly for a state to engage itself in a matter where they have already stated their position. There is alternative mechanisms of this dispute to be resolved through the AU and an arbitration manner. We don't want to waste our money.
Somalia has said it does not trust.
It doesn't matter. It is up to them. 1965, Somalia was a state. 1965, Somalia was a state. 2019, Somalia is a pariah state, a failed state. Therefore, whatever you are dealing with, we are dealing with a failed state where people could make several things, destroy, even turn and make personal decisions. This matter of Somalia going to ICJ is a matter personally executed, fronted, equipped by the current Prime Minister of Somalia, Mr. Hassan Haire, whose records, again, plenty. I've now got plenty of records. Plenty. Another record. It involves very high stakes. That's why it must not end by people threatening people. There is no need of Kenya wasting time to discuss. Let me go further. After that, 2, disputes within the members of the Commonwealth of Nations. Disputes with regard of the questions which by general rules of international law fall exclusively within the jurisdiction of Kenya. Tell me, why was Kenya going there? Why should you look for more lawyers? For what? Unless you want to go and have a holiday in The Hague. Tell me, what do you want to go to Hague? You live, this is an international matter for now, international interpreters of law. We don't want our Attorney General, the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, to waste the time of a matter that has already been. It's already here. The boundary, anything that touches anything in 1965, you made a declaration under Article 35. A country, a party that wants to do the opposite must seek consent. And that consent must be in writing. I have not seen any consent in writing.
And Kenya still wants to take up the African Union's, of course, suggestions for direct talks with Somalia before this problem gets out of hand. But Somalia is not very keen on having those talks. So what will be the stake here? Where is the middle ground that Kenya and Somalia can meet if Kenya insists that we have to have an out-of-court settlement and Somalia stands its ground? The ICJ is the way to go. So what will happen if all the two countries insist on, sticking to their guns?
You see, Somalia can stick to their guns because they have got wrong advisors. The agreement that Kenya made was in 1965 when Somalia was a state functional. The state of Somalia today is not functional. It's not fully functional. If you ask me which type of guidance they have, whether they have an embassy in The Hague or Netherlands, they don't. They have a toilet. Yes, because there's, honestly, today, where's the embassy? They are just building up. There's building capacity right now. Therefore, if this is, you can't go and waste money when we did not seek consent. Kenya has no consent. Kenya never received the consent, agreed to the consent to the case being taken to ICJ. Because they stated here categorically. And nobody has repealed this law. Nobody. Neither Somalia has rejected or written to Kenya to say that we are now going to take a compulsory route. No. Where's the letter? I've dug everything in that office. My investigators in London have been on the job, picking serious documents of this nature. The Prime Minister of Somalia is the man behind the current situation that is going to engulf Kenya and Somalia.
And I see the document you're carrying has the Soma oil.
Yes,
and gas.
This is something very serious that I am tabling into other waters of international operations next week. It is very serious that the lies, the money-made, the submissions, the money-made, the sale of this platform were against the United Nations Security Council resolution. I'm coming. I would like to know where the money that was got from the sale Whether consultancy fee, where did it go? Who took it? Who had it? Who used it? Where was it used? If it was not used to dismember British interests, if it was not used to destroy Kenya, if it was not used to destroy Somalia itself. So we have a right to know, and the world, the public, has a right to know. There's public interest in the case. The case touches our unity. The case touches our security arrangement in the Indian Ocean. The case touches anything. Any ruling on this case can cause, can trigger, can injure the states of East Africa and the Horn of Africa.
And in your earlier statements, you mentioned that the presiding judge, who is a Somali, he met with one side of the case. By that you mean he met with the Somalian government?
Yes. And he wrote a letter. We have written to the registrar. Kenya wrote to the registrar. But the president directly wrote to the president. It's not procedure. Both parties must be treated equally. Both parties must be given the privilege, the guidelines, the order, the procedure, the substance of the court must be seen, weighing on both sides.
In other words, the court must be seen to be neutral.
Yes.
Not
and the court seems not to be neutral. Mm-hmm. The court is not neutral.
Okay. So, of course, in Nairobi, of course, the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma said an out-of-order settlement is preferable to Kenya due to its likelihood of generating a durable solution for both parties. So what even the Kenyan government now is saying, should this court thing, the ICJ matter, even if it rules either way, that will not be a lasting solution. That will leave one country with a very bitter taste, and it might create more problems in the future.
You are right. Any settlement, any discussion, any further engagement by the State of Republic of Kenya, whether November or whatever date you want, you are committing suicide. Because you are going into a matter that should not be there at all. Because your hands are tied by Article 36, which you actually ratified, put in your statute books, and said we can only go through arbitration. The best way between Somalia and Kenya is arbitration. Is not court. This we are going to a painful way. What we are going now is crucifixion. We have left the Calvary where Jesus was crucified. Actually, we are about to reach where Jesus or where Muhammad died from. We don't want to reach there. We want to finish this thing before we reach the Calvary or the point in Mecca or Medina where Muhammad died from. We don't want to go that route. We would like to discuss. We would like to get an out-of-court settlement. We have several issues where people today are enjoying the Abyei in South Sudan, between South Sudan and Sudan. The oil is rolling. We can share these products. There are so many ways that will come as a result of negotiating. But if you allow that judge, who is already influenced the other judges, who has told them that Somalia is a greater Somalia, and he addresses people, a man who's paid, a man whose houses, whose rents, mortgages have been paid by George Soros, and you allow him to take a ruling, we are bringing a problem to the region that if we are not careful, it can be an inferno.
And so the African Union Peace and Security Council also asked the chairperson of the African Union, Mr. Musa Faki Mohammed, to appoint a special envoy to help Mogadishu and Nairobi hold talks. But he has not done that yet. Is there hopes, even when it comes to AU, that he's able even to mediate in such a matter? Judging by the
that can do
by its performance.
Both envoys that can do, but if it can only do if Kenya state takes a stand. If Kenya takes a stand and does not arrive in this obnoxious, opaque court, a court whose direction you don't know. You don't know. You have already cited Article 36. The government of Kenya can move. The Attorney General, if you are listening, you can move to make a declaration under 36. You can tell them that I'm sorry. There is no consent. We needed consent. We needed to hear from Somalia. We needed to agree that we are now refusing the former method that we used. It is that method that allowed in 2011, you remember 2009, that Wetangula took part in these discussions. You remember? When this thing was sealed, Wetangula and the then government of Somalia.
And Kenya, of course, has filed before the ICJ to annul this case. And on February 2nd, 2017, the court annulled Kenya's objection to proceeding to a full hearing of the case. So Kenya have been trying to really not want to this case to continue at the ICJ.
You see, the nullification was based on fallacy. Why did Kenya go there in the first place? Show me a document that came from of consent. That's it. That's my argument. So I am seeking to overturn the rest of this rubbish of Gif Mungai. That's all. That's me. If I were the Attorney General of Kenya, I would seek that mandate first. Give me first.
But Mr. Kihara has sought for something totally different, for time to constitute a new legal team.
You constitute to go where?
This is what the government now is working on.
That's why I'm talking publicly. And let Kenyans listen to my lips. If they go that route, we are dead. We have already accepted to go in the hands of the monster to swallow us. This court is a monster. This court cannot relinquish power from one judge from who is a native, a friend, a tribesman of the president of Somalia. How do you take your dice there and say, slaughter me?
So if the Somali judge is removed to be the presiding judge and they put another judge, will that make a difference? Should Kenya be comfortable with the replacement of the Somali judge?
Then we move to the question of the consent. Where is it?
So how should those matters follow each other? The consent first, or the judge and the interest?
Me, I am independent. I'm pursuing international justice on my own.
So how would you advise the government of Kenya to go about
what I'm saying is
the legal team that is being constituted
it is there now.
Yes.
And I believe me or not, I am telling you the Somali government has equally, according to my serious intelligence reports inside the court, they have also equally gone my route, and they have said the judge should leave because they don't want this argument to be carried. Have you seen? I am right. Have you seen? They have already also signaled that they are writing to the court to recuse the charge from this. Because he's a Somali national.
And there will be a conflict of interest.
Yes.
Had they not thought about it from the start?
They had international court. Of course, they were, until they were blown up.
That is an oversight.
By this, they were blown up by the application, the complaint that I made.
You filed about 2 weeks ago.
But one would like to ask Kenya, didn't Kenya tried when this man was a deputy? He was a deputy minister. A deputy judge, the second in command to the French judge who retired. And they gave reasons that him being a deputy did not have the powers to overrule anything. But now, since he is a full-time presiding judge, it means he has taken the powers that we see today.
And one of our viewers here, Nick Mugudu, thank you so much for joining us this evening. He's writing in and he's saying, any decision in support of Somalia in this case will be catastrophic for the Horn of Africa. Doctor, think about this. If Somalia wins the skewed argument in the skewed court, the presidents will be dangerous. Next will be a case on northeastern province. Again, Somalia will say they go to the ICJ and win. After that, it will be Ethiopia's Ogaden, and the war will be unmanageable. My suggestion for Kenya is to write a letter to the ICJ and protest the summons and declare the court a partial and hostile actor in the crisis.
Thank you. You see, now this is the debate. This is the debate where they say Matanga. They say, this is it. This is the argument I am on. The moment you allow, you say you are constituting lawyers to go where? Or maybe you are constituting lawyers to eat the money. You know this syndrome of eating money is everywhere here. Please, Mr. President, it is that you have got Article 36 waiting for you, Your Excellency, my dear brother Pan-African. Even if it was me alone, I can finish that court without those lawyers. What English do they know? That I don't know. I know international law. Oketo should stop telling lies here. I'm telling you, there's no need of constituting. To do what? You go there to do what? This is not a criminal court. This is not a criminal court. This is not a criminal court that it will summon Matanga, arrest him, and put him if he doesn't turn up. It's a court of concession. Concessions. Concessions must be there. Concessions must be consent. We can make a declaration and refuse to attend. They can go ahead and do whatever they want. We have mechanisms in Africa that can run an arbitration system of AU to bring these two brothers together.
And assuming Somalia goes ahead and does whatever it wants, because we know it has already had an auction in London to sell some of these blocks, and decides to go all the way and actually sell them. So what would that mean for this case?
Look,
if it decides, okay, Kenya, you've decided
you
want to come.
Part of the problem, what you are saying is correct.
Yes.
They have already. First, I want to go deeper to find out where is the money. The money these people got from this, the original money that changed the hands. Where did it end? First, from the British soil, British system. 1, 2 from the Somali system. 3 from, has it had Kenyans or Ugandan troops? I am expanding. Look at me. This is the game I enjoy most. Play with me. Play it. Bring it on. Famijo, bring it on. Bring your degrees. We put them on table. Yours is about 2. Mine are many. Bring them on. I will finish you. Show me where the money went. The money that was got from the cells, the original money, whether it was consultants, if it was used by any of the people, when there is war in Somalia and the United Nations guidelines are here. I quote them, baby. Come on, bring it on. I'm ready for them. And that is the move. And that is how we shall go. So if you want to constitute, your lawyers constitute, and then they do what? They will take your billions. I'm telling you, there's a reason. Bring the lawyers here. Bring the Solicitor General. Let's sit on a panel and let somebody listen to us. This section, Article 36, gives us the clear light.
So it has that provision.
Yes.
That there should be an alternative. If there's an alternative mechanism of solving this.
There's no consent.
It should be pursued.
There's no consent at all. Whoever took Kenya there took the belly and the stomach and the food. And maybe he went to Red District of Amsterdam. Sorry.
So,
our Attorney General,
yes.
with due respect, I respect Mr. Kihara, a very great guy, very good at judge. Let him not be misadvised by money magnets. Hallelujah. I am always honest. You saw here I talked about the damn money. It is eaten. It's not there. It's gone.
But the government cancelled the one for
But it's not. They have cancelled. We have now to go quickly. If we don't, again now Kenya is, you see now, Kenya is watching. You must be the first one to go after this Muzungu. Because he received some money. Before the Muzungu goes for us. That's the problem of Kenya. We make silly mistakes. We must now go and accuse the Muzungu first. Before it becomes like Anglo-leasing. You remember?
But Muzungu already filed for bankruptcy.
It doesn't matter.
That protects
Let's
him.
also go into a bankruptcy scenario. This was all an orchestrated, orchestrated, organized, delivered by the men who wanted the money.
And what is interesting, yesterday or even today I watched on the news that the residents of Kimorel came out and said, come on, you cannot close down this dam. We need it here as residents. Why is the government doing this to us? This was supposed to be very helpful to us. And I thought, who brought these people here to speak to the press? And they know the people that they should be going there to ask these questions for. And interesting was the senator for that area came out and gave a statement, and he's disappointed that that project has been cancelled.
And then it's the same senator who said the money was never eaten. The same senator.
The intrigues is
yes, you see, that's the challenge of Africa. We lay the poison that we shall drink later. We make it. We lay the bed that we shall sleep on. Murkomen is sleeping on the bed now. His people are saying, you came here and addressed people and said there was no money, we are after the people of this area. Now he laid the bed, he's sleeping on it today.
And others now wants to be, for their land to be repaid back.
Yes. But pay. What about the towels? All the people who bought the towels, cameras, this, even bed sheets, all these towels, forks, cutlery, sefria, nini, everybody. You see, there is something in Africa. Now, this one, they should run quickly. And I hope the AG is watching me. Run fast and put a quick case on this Italian mafia man. That he came, he told us, he even accepted to take the money of insurance when he knew that there was a fault. The place was faulty, first of all, without even doing any feasibility study. Can you believe that there was no feasibility study for 28 years?
There wasn't, and even
the last one was done 28 years ago.
And even they didn't even do the drawings, the ones that require the architectural part of it. Dennis Okello here is saying the US citizen Farmajo is a dangerous one, even to the AU. How can our presidents even discuss boundary issues with him in an ordinary AU meeting?
That's it. There is something that people are not feeling. Kenyans must wake up, stand up, feel like some of us feel for your country. We feel for your country. I feel for your country. Most of you tell me I am not supposed to talk about Kenya, but I feel for it. To save a lot of. In 2009, I felt for this country. When I saw another monster called Ocampo came in to slaughter people, to take the taller ones, Uhuru Kenyatta very tall, Ruto very tall, Sanga very short, and the others. I stood in the middle. Now I see a problem here. We have not consented. Kenya did not consent to be taken across to The Hague. Why should it arrange more lawyers to go there to do what? That's my point.
Well, on Tuesday this week, the court outlined conditions to journalists who want to go there to cover the story, diplomats and members of the public wishing to attend the hearings, which I know perhaps you won't go because you filed a complaint, and journalists who had received accreditation, of course, you're supposed to go do that. And of course, in a statement, the court said the first round of hearing will take place from November 4th and 6th. So the court seems to be set. And
it is set because,
Kenya,
you know, when they saw the application coming in, now they said apply again. What is it for? To waste the time to apply? They will sit in the court without people. Let them sit without one side appearing. Why do you waste millions of dollars to hire those men from London? Yet we can solve this thing on the street. The Somalis solved this on the street in London. They solve it there also.
And talking about hiring those people from London, I was also shocked because the last legal team Kenya had, composed of American Professor Payan Akavan, Professor Vaughan Law, Queen's Counsel from the UK, Professor Alan Boyle from British, Professor Matthias Fortu, French, Mr. Karim Khan, British, and Miss Amy Sanders, British. You know, Kenyan there. I mean, seriously, we have law
Karim
schools
Khan
here.
is looking for money.
Come on.
You know the other money of ICC is not enough. This time, no. This can be solved without them. There is no need. They are not going to take more money. You know, you can cheat people, but we can catch you. I've never told the world what happened to me. But now I'm catching them. We can solve this problem. We can go under Article 36. You don't need very expensive lawyers. You need only Mrs. Cholet. Mrs. Cholet, she studied maritime law. That woman there. You need this man, P.L.O. Lumumba. It's maritime law. Put them on a plane, we go.
Does it mean Kenya government does not have confidence even in its own people and education system?
This
what
thing
is this?
Of say we are going to London, we are going to look for... No way! This time let the president hear.
We should have our
and we are going to tell... You know, for me, I will tell the truth. I will tell the truth this time. This country loses a lot of money through those type of lawyer thing going to get law. Get which lawyer? This thing you can take Cholet. Take Cholet. That
Boss Cholet, yes.
Yes. Gladys Cholet. Take Lumumba. There are several other maritime lawyers here. Load them. They will argue on Article 36. Put Matanga activism and other people. Several Kenyans.
Hold on, something came in very interesting. Faisal Abdurrahman, thank you so much for writing to us. You're saying Somalia Prime Minister, I don't know how to say that name, who is the brother-in-law of Amajo, is the one propagating this and is being pushed by the Norwegian who are sponsoring this case. Once they get this deal for Amajo, and that Prime Minister will disappear and live happily ever after. And this seems to be a Somali name. I don't know.
But it's true.
The Prime Minister is brother-in-law to the president.
Exactly.
I did not know that.
I am telling you.
So it's a family affair.
You know, it's a family affair. Then they have combined. Do you know that Yusuf, Abdalakwi Yusuf, judge, the presiding president judge of ICJ, was an advisor to the government of Somalia on maritime law?
What?
Did you know that? And does that constitute conflict of interest? Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Very much so.
And then you say you are organizing lawyers to go. To go where? To go where, Jermaine? To go and do what? To go and do what? Tell me. All this QC, Khan has written a lot of money from this country. QC what? No way, not this time.
Twins.
This time Khan has found another man.
Twins can't
Because the other time on ICC, he ran away with all the money. This time, nowhere. Nowhere. Not. I told them. I'll find them.
So does the government...
And I'm exposing this because you cannot go to collect more lawyers there who are going to take $3 million to $5 million. Nowhere. No.
We have Kenyans who are qualified, I believe.
Nowhere.
Who can take up this job, work and represent the country very
This is not a criminal case. It's not a criminal case that Kenya will be imprisoned or Uhuru will be imprisoned. This is a case where all of us can play. Tunaweza ingia kwa kiwanja tunapigana. Mimi nimeshaingia huko na wapiga niko ndani. Hawa shenzi. Na wapiga niko ndani. What will they say? The complaint is there. Refuse it. Refuse it by writing to me. Then I go to the Secretary General. I'm waiting. You think I work things without having a backup? I'm a backup guy in those European metros. Don't underestimate me. Don't. That can. To come again here for millions. Nowhere. No.
They were in the first legal team, so I hope he's not going to be in this other team.
They should not be there at all.
I'd like to see Kenyans there.
Why?
At least 2 or 3 of our lawyers
If somebody, I am going to the Old Bailey next week. I will be in the Old Bailey filing. Am I a lawyer? Am I QC, what? Am I? No.
You're not a Queen's
I am filing. Why are we wasting taxpayers' money here? People are dying of medicine, hunger, and so on. Then you want to go and collect a bunch of men who sleep in the middle of the hearing. Yet the thing is simple. It is laid in Article 36. You put the evidence. Kenya wrote in 1965 that only those things that they cannot solve, they can go there. Now, this one is solvable because it has never risen. But you are not dealing with a state. You are dealing with a pariah state, a broken, failed state called Somalia, ruled by the prime minister, the brother-in-law to the president, who have a family matter to solve.
All right, and our friend here, Faisal Abdurrahman, is back again and is saying Dr. Matsanga should understand the clan politics of Somalia. Once they get this, even their third generation will sorted. Famijo is fighting for family, not Somalia. Kenya should boycott it because it's not Somalia, but Norway fighting Kenya. And Issa Din, you're saying, I don't know what he's saying there, but Dennis, you're saying, that's what I wanted to hear, and I can even volunteer to join the military for this course in this series. Come on, okay, I hope it doesn't get there, but Kenya said it's ready. The military, it's ready, and so Ali also said it's ready, but you don't want it to get to those lengths. So if they can actually talk, because CS Monica, as she was addressing the press over this week, she said that the Hague-based court postponed the case, which was set to start last Monday, and she also added that Kenya is in vibrant talks with Somalia counterparts to see if they can reach an agreement. So that is our prayer, but Somalia has insisted it does not want to hear anything to do with the AU mediating. And it has stuck to its gun. It only believes in the ICJ, and of course, knowing that the presiding judge there is Somalia, obviously, technically, that should have knocked him out. Why was he even sitting there and hoping he will preside over this case? That is the part I don't understand. And why did the court allow him?
The guy is seated there, and he's still writing to the government of Somalia, instead of the registrar of the court writing to the government of Somalia. He's seated there. You see?
All right. So, of course, the case is, the hearing is, the first round of the hearing is set to start on 4th, and it will go until on 6th, when Somalia will start, giving its The Somalia will be the first one to go, and then Kenya will follow.
Isa, Difa said, calm down. So thank you very much. Do we have anything else to say?
I don't think we have anything else to
Yes,
say.
the rest we can't disclose them here.
Yes.
Because several of these things in the summary, it is Article 36, and it goes further, maybe for our people to understand. It goes further. Article 36C, 36C of the statute provides that in the event of a dispute as to whether the court has jurisdiction, the matter shall be settled by the decision of the court. Kenya raised an objection, and that objection, if it became a dispute, and the court in the maritime case against Somalia on the ground that the parties had a signed memorandum of understanding what the court should have done.
That did but years ago.
Yes, that dates back years ago. They refused to listen to that. So what Kenya should do or should have done is to invoke a declaration. A declaration is 36.5. I'll leave you the paper. 36, Article 36.5. You
Can I just read
Yes.
this to our viewers? So Article 36, this is a statute of the International Court of Justice. Article 36, sub-article 5 says, declarations made under Article 36 of the statute of the Permanent Court of the International Justice, which are still in force, shall be deemed as between the parties to the present statute to be acceptance of the compulsory jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice for the period which they still have to run and in accordance with their terms. There you go.
You see now? And then many of the jurisdictions declaration made under Article 36.2 of the court's statute are severely restricted, including the maritime. Because it was already in 1965, Kenya had made a decision that it cannot touch some of those things that cannot disputes like concerning any question relating or arising out of a belligerent or military occupation. You get the point? Or the discharge of any function pursuant to the recommendations of the decisions of an organ of the United Nations. Kenya has not invaded that place. Kenya has not taken over that place. So why do we ourselves take ourselves to the Calvary?
Kenya has
you got the argument.
Has not started drilling for oil there.
No.
Has never even wanted to do that.
It is Somalia that went and started selling the oil blocks. That should be answerable because it has provoked, but not Kenya. So Kenya should completely sit as if they don't know.
And then Somalia goes ahead and sells
No,
it completely.
whatever. Then Kenya can take a decision that they want.
From their own. All right. Zaki Abdi Sheikh, I see there you're writing. Thank you so much for joining us this evening here. Just a few minutes past 9 p.m., I believe, here in Nairobi, Kenya. And Doc, I don't know if you're done. And if you're done, some news I read before you just came in here. The former Tunisian president, Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, has died in exile in Saudi Arabia. He had been ailing just 2 days after the elections. Of the death, of course, whoever.
May his soul rest in peace,
yes.
Ben Ali.
Yes.
The Tunisian leader who
who
was overthrown by the first uprising, the Arab uprising.
It started in Tunisia. He had led for 23 years, and he died at the age of 83 years old. So, yep.
Somalis, Naki Hassan Omar, the oil is yours, no problem. No problem. We haven't said we want any of it. But we are only saying we have lived together for a long time.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about it today and not those days? Yeah.
A peaceful coexistence is, I think, will be more beneficial to both countries and both neighbors. I think that's what we want. We do not want another war to start, especially not with Somalia, and I'm not sure Somalia wants a war with Kenya because it will not benefit anybody. So I'll be just praying for a way that this dispute will be solved in a manner that will not lead to any further damages or acrimony between the two countries. And so we thank you so much for engaging with us tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, viewers. The rest of you tomorrow during daytime, you will see Miriam will be available at 11 o'clock. We want to thank you very much, our viewers, Kenyans, and all over the world, wherever you are in the United States of America, and in Europe, in The Hague itself, in Australia, in South America, in Canada, those going for the United Nations Security Council, General Assembly, thank you very much. We only talk, and the talking is the best way to make sure that a conflict does not arise. Thank you very much, Miriam, for tonight. I hope we have done the best that we can to make sure that things cool down. People think of reasoning other than using my brother. There is something the Prime Minister finally to say of Somalia is covering something. He wants to cover something. And that coverage is by going to the ICJ. And all what we need is to uncover it. So, interesting times. Let's watch. By next week, it will be uncovered. Thank you very much. Over to you, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. And mine is just to urge you, let's meet here tomorrow, bright and early in the morning. The weather is very fantastic. The sunshine seems to be back in Nairobi now, so we are able to walk around and not covered with a lot of layers of clothes. And so I hope to see you here 11 a.m. tomorrow with the latest news from across Africa. I have a lot from Biafra, from the recent meeting that Nnamdi Kanu had with the UN officials there in Brussels, and also in Geneva, and of course other news from Cameroon, the latest, and indeed the rest of Africa, and the latest, of course, from across the world. So I hope I'll meet you here tomorrow, bright and early, 11 a.m. East African time, for another edition of Good Morning Africa. But for now, my name is Miriam Ogutu, and I'm signing out.
Thank you.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.